Have you ever wondered, how is it to run a half marathon? I also did, and so I've decided to try it. In this video, I'm gonna run my first half marathon and share my tips and insights for our next attempts. But firstly, let's prepare. I am not running any race, but I've just decided to try running those 51 kilometers for myself. I have already done some preparation. I've done some yoga, I've ate my breakfast, and right now I'm just preparing my last things. Firstly, many people say that they take some energy gels with them on these long runs. I don't have any at home because I don't do runs longer than 1 hour, and so I was kind of thinking, what should I take with me so that I would not run out of energy. And today will be a very hard run. Right now it's 10:30 and it's already 28 degrees Celsius, so it'll be a very hot day. I even got an alert for high temperatures on my weather app, so it is expected to be a very hot day and I need to keep my body hydrated and also energized. And so I have realized I have actually won an energy drink in my first running race approximately a year ago, and I have not tried it yet, so let's get the drink ready. I took my iPad because we're gonna have to do some hard maths. The instructions say that for 500 milliliters of water you should use 30 grams of this powder. My problem is that I don't have a 500 milliliter water bottle, but actually 800 milliliter water bottle. So I gotta do some quick maths to figure out how much of that powder I'm supposed to put in this bottle. The math is done. I could have used ChatGPT, but we gotta stretch our brains. And so the calculator app says it will be 48 grams of the powder. So let's make the drink. The powder is in, and now let's add some water. Taste test. Tastes good. At this point, I just had to tie my laces and go. And at first, it seemed really easy. I began my journey in a forest where it was cool and I was protected from the sun. But as I was running farther and farther, the sun started to creep in. So I just had to do a little adjustments. First slowdown of the day is here. The tank top started to feel insanely hot, and so I just put it into the running vest. I'm good again. 5k in and I started to get a little tired. It was partially because I was out of the forest, which was on one hand a bit uncomfortable, but on the other it was so gorgeous. I really love those meadows and the fact that it's right next to a river. But the other reason I was getting tired was because I didn't really know what pace I should run. Usually I leave it to my intuition. I just look at my watch and see if I'm running on faster pace than 6, because that's just what I'm aiming for. Everything under 6 is good. But after these 5k, I've realized that this is not an aimable pace for me running a half marathon, and so I started slowing down. But the problem for me was that I have not researched what pace I should be aiming for, so when I started slowing down I didn't know if I was too slow or too fast, and it was quite uncomfortable. So I would just really next time try to research what pace is suitable for me and just try to aim it. On the 7th kilometer I had another great epiphany. Next time I'm definitely not wearing my running vest. As I said in the beginning, it was extremely hot that day, and even though I put my tank top into that running vest and so most of my skin was exposed, the running vest was still covering the upper part of my back, and so it started to get really uncomfortable in a short while. Also, I ran into a tiny problem, and it was that I already on the 7th kilometer ran out of half of the water bottle, so there was only half left, but I was just in 1/3 of the run. The 10th k was no better. I started to feel my first knee at first, and then after a few minutes the second one also made itself known. And on the 12th k the crisis started. I ran out of water. You may be thinking that 12k is not that bad because there was just 9 kilometers ahead of me, but for me it was very bad because I was thirsty the whole run even though I was drinking. And so now that I could not drink anymore, the thirst has gotten even worse and I started to get dehydrated. And from there, with the dehydration, I was also fighting increasing muscle soreness. I really could feel those leg muscles with every step I took, and it was getting more and more uncomfortable. And even the slightest hills I came across were a hell for me. Really, sometimes when I was like 15 kilometers in, there was a hill where I had to go up for like 2 meters and I had to start walking because I just could not run it. But even though I had to face all these problems, I have in the end made it back home. As you may have seen now, this run was not very comfortable one, and so I've gathered my 3 main points that I did wrong and that you and me can do better next time we try to run our half marathon. Firstly, try running this length when it's cool outside, and don't make the mistake that I have made, that you will try to run your first half marathon when it's 31 degrees outside in the full sun. Look, I know it may look tempting. The sun is shining, you have a good mood, and you want to get a tan. But really, it's not very practical. When you're running in the sun, you need much more water and it's much harder to breathe. There were many times during my run where I just wished that it started snowing or at least raining so I could cool myself down, because I just could feel myself overheating. And also everything around me was overheated too, so when I ran on sunny part of the road started emitting the heat on me and I could really feel it. And when I came to an exposed outskirt of forest, it really started to get very stuffy. Secondly, run slower. I know it may look tempting to run your normal pace from the beginning, but really think about the hardness of the last kilometers and really try to run slowly, because the beginning is always easy, but the end doesn't have to be this hard. So research a pace that you should be aiming for and try to hold on to it, and don't push yourself right in the beginning. And thirdly, choose a flat trail. Guys, I was such a dummy when I was choosing the trail I was running. The elevation was like 300 meters and I could definitely feel it. I was running over so many hills, and even though there were forests, I could really feel the elevation. So next time I'm running a long run like this, I'm definitely choosing an easier trail, for example, next to a river. And that's it. If you've watched this far, comment this emoji. And if you're into sports or nature, watch this video when I'm hiking alone for the first time. Otherwise, see you on next Monday.